בשעה 8 בדיוק. כרטיסים יהיה ניתן לרכוש באתר yonidvir-events.com. בקיצור, אני כבר מוכן. Are you guys ready? בואו נעשה ביג ביג בלגן. נתראה בקרוב.
מתחתנים? חוגגים אירוע. הרדיו הישראלי שירותי מוזיקה לאירועים. צוות הדי-ג'ייז של הרדיו הישראלי בשיתוף די-ג'יי גרוב אצלכם באירוע. נעשה לכם שמח באירוע יחד עם צוות ההפקה והשידור, וכמו שהרדיו הישראלי פלורידה יודע לעשות. להזמנות היגעו עכשיו 267-237-2495 267-237-2495.
Looking for the freshest, top-quality meats in town? Come to Meat Master, your neighborhood kosher butcher shop in Hollywood. Premium cuts of beef, chicken, lamb, and more. Kosher under ORB supervision. Perfect for BBQs, family dinners, or any occasion. Whether you're a grill master or just love great meat, Meat Master is your go-to destination. Taste the difference today. Visit us in Hollywood, Florida. Call now to place your order. 75446-55461. Follow us on social media for weekly specials. Meat Master, where quality meets tradition.
זה סיפור על איזה מישהי שבחוף קוראים לה ביצ'י כי קיפלה לכולם את האזנבות. אני אפילו לא במים וצריך מציל עדיין כי טבעתי לי במחשבות. אז אם רק תיתן מבט קטן אני מבטיח אם מיד תרצה לתת לי עוד. בוא נשנה את האווירה ואם הייתי בחורה אז איזה שיר היה גורם לי לרקוד.
טוב, שלום לכם, אתם על 107.1, גם 99.9. מה נשמע, איך אתם מרגישים? 5:35 ואנחנו אומרים אחר הצהריים טובים לגילה. How are you, גילה?
I am fabulous as ever. I love being here, Nissan. Thank you so much.
Can you tell me about your week in the last week? What did you do in the last week? Was something exciting?
Oh, well, it was the most exciting. I got to interview Noah Tishby right here on Israeli Jewish Radio. What could be better? And it was such a meaningful conversation.
Okay, so we're back with the segment about the AI here in the Jewish radio station, Israeli radio station here in South Florida. And tell me what's happened, what we can learn with the Noah Tishby interview. What is the most important moment in this interview, exciting interview that you remember, that we actually can remember what's happened in the interview?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. There are a couple of things that were really, really meaningful and important, and actually that I have been thinking about since, and that I'm so happy to continue to share here with our amazing listener base. So first of all, Noah shared with us how important it is for all of us to stay grounded and not get triggered and do the personal work so that we can have the hard conversations with people when they are ignorant or unsupportive or say things about Israel and Judaism and, whatever it is that would otherwise trigger us. And she just really brought home the importance of that, which I was so happy to hear, because I, for one, have spent the last over 20 years really working on leadership and personal responsibility, and I know how important that is. And as I shared, my mother growing up always would say two things. When you lose your cool, you lose your argument, and you have to let people save face in order to, see your point of view. And Noah brought that home so clearly, and it was really powerful. The other piece that I was so thrilled that she brought to light and really spoke about was the fact that each one of us really has a voice and the ability to make a difference in the community and in battling anti-Semitism and turning the narrative around our people by really humanizing us. And, she talked about how it's not from behind the keyboard that we're going to do this. It's not from our social media and things like that, but really that it's each one of us reaching out to our non-Jewish friends and network and letting them see who we are, inviting them to a Shabbat dinner or another similar type of, event, and just letting them see who we are as people. And I thought that was so powerful. But I will tell you, Nissan, what I really just have been contemplating so much since, and I'm so, it makes me even more grateful for the platform that you have built here and to be a part of the radio station and deliver the messages and bring AI fluency to people is really interesting and timely, given that last week we had paused our normal learning about, the practical points of AI in order to talk about the AI for Leaders Summit that I just completed. Actually, it was super powerful, and there's still some things going on. So if people want to get involved, they can still sign up. But the interesting thing was last week I highlighted that, and in doing so, I shared something that felt really important and vulnerable to me about how important and more I'm realizing the passion I have for truly serving a Jewish community and base and building a business around working with serving a Jewish audience and community. And of course, as you know, for me, that's around AI and teaching people how to use AI and use it well. And something that Noah said, which was beyond, she talked about, as I started to touch on, that it's not from behind the keyboard, right? That we are going to change opinions. And she talked about the need to, as I said, to humanize and to bring people into our lives. But it made me realize that, yes, that's true. But she also touched on, do you remember, Nissan, when she talked about, how there are bots and all of these bad people and countries controlling the bots and what they're doing?
I definitely remember,
yeah. So I kept thinking about it and thinking, okay, I hear you, it's true. But doesn't that mean that it's that much more important and that we need to be that much more on top of becoming, each one of us, AI fluent? Because not only, I've said before, that we have a responsibility in this moment in time, right, to take a hold of this technology and this and the tools and use them. But we've also touched upon, it's not that AI is going to replace a person; it's a person using AI that will. And as you know, we as Jews, we are always so disproportionately powerful, and the accomplishments and the good that we do in the world has historically been disproportionately huge compared to our numbers. And so it got me thinking, yes, I totally agree, Noah, that is the case. But also, if we focus our energy and our power on learning AI, on using it powerfully, on innovating, on really making sure that we also are able to, as a collective, create the narrative that AI is learning and do incredible and powerful things, won't we have the ability potentially to create that tipping point and actually win the fight, the good fight that we need to with AI, and not just resign to the fact that because there are bad people and big countries and all kinds of things using AI that we will lose that battle, and it's only on an individual basis. So I really, I stayed up, I thought about it, I meditated on it, and it just got me even more fired up about the importance of every one of our listeners, of every Jewish person, learning and becoming AI fluent so that we can teach the models, not only the humans, but teach the digital species and the models who we are as a collective, as a people, the difference that we make, and who knows what we can create in doing so, right? I mean, how incredible a possibility is that? So I'm even more excited and enthusiastic and determined to teach our listeners to bring AI fluency to the Jewish people and to businesses in particular. And so next week we will come back
You can hear the fall and understand. Oh. Yeah. It's really strong.
Right?
It's getting inside the microphone even. Unbelievable.
I mean, it really, if you think about it, it's powerful. At first when she said it, I thought, she's right. And she is right. It is important that we are on the boots on the ground, every one of us making that difference. But we also can make the difference with the digital species. And really, that noble goal that I have had from the beginning with AI, now I only realize to be that much more important, and to bring it to our people, to the members of the tribe. It's so important. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to do that. And in order to do that, I really want to I don't know, just convey the importance and ask that each listener go ahead and take this very seriously, get creative, use the tools, use the platforms, and in particular, I would really love to support all the businesses out there, the Jewish businesses. I would love nothing working with so that we can.
You're listening to is powered by AzureCast, the free and open source software that makes web.
Help all the Jewish businesses out there put in the frameworks, put in the policies and the training that they need to use AI responsibly and well and create as I said, the disproportionate difference that we have historically made. Let's now amplify that and do it with AI.
Amazing. I'm just losing for something 1 second. Okay, so what we're going to talk now? It's interesting to know.
What we're going to talk now is that we're going to go back to the fact that when you're using AI, being responsible and understanding what the tool is and what you are using it for and how to use it is so important. And again, this conversation with Noah brought it to my attention even more than ever and made it so much more important. So the things that I want, especially Jewish business owners, to understand is that they do need to work with their employees, with their third-party vendors, with their contractors to understand what is happening and how it's used. So there are some very simple things and tools we can put in place, a few policies and procedures. They don't have to be complicated, but when we do this mindfully, it's going to just change take AI from a risk to a resource for you and make it that much more powerful. So we're going to talk very briefly the 4 policies. 3 are absolutely a must for every business owner, and 1 is optional unless you are a digital and online facing business, in which case it's also a must. So the first one is every one of our businesses should have an AI policy in place. It can be high level, but it needs to speak to what people in the business can do and can't do with AI and have a basic understanding. The second thing is that they all need to have privacy policies that lay out, again, what can be put in and taken out of AI. It's a little more narrow than the AI policy itself, which is a bit broader and speaks to culture and general policy. Third is a confidentiality agreement that includes a non-compete clause. And this is mostly for your third-party vendors and your independent contractors so that you understand how they are working with AI when they work with you, because that can have a major impact. One of my big AI mentors, who is a genius legal mind that I learned from, he talks about a lot buying a lawsuit. So there are many tools that people go on and don't even realize that they could potentially be buying a lawsuit because these various platforms are not using, the information that they got by scraping the internet appropriately, and it has a domino effect. And I'm sure next week we can get more deeply into it.
I'm scared one thing, that I become too much independent on AI because everything that's written in AI, I believe it. So I need to a little bit be careful. Even I'm asking legal question and he give me legal answer. So what do I need to do? How can I trust this thing?
We have talked about this a little bit, and I'm really glad you brought it up because it's definitely worth talking about more and more. So you certainly cannot take everything that AI says at face value. It is incredibly important to fact check. But not only fact check, you have to understand that AI it's called, I mentioned it before, scraping the internet. So what that means is AI goes and it collects information from everything that's out on the internet. Now, as you know, things that are on the internet are both things that are credible and were put there by credible sources, and there are just things that are, any general user or person can put out. So there's plenty that AI collects from that simply is not true.
So I have an idea. Let's
Tell me.
say let's give ideal to one of our listeners is an attorney. I'm attorney. I want to develop AI program that connect to my books, to my information that's 100% reliable. So I can sell like ChatGPT for attorney that show me the right answer, the true answer. Let's say I cannot using $200,000 to buy something or whatever, and I go to this app, legal app that actually authorized by the authority, and it give me the right answer. So do you think in the future company like Morgan & Morgan will create, Morgan, it's a law firm.
Yes.
They can create actually a AI app that give you legal advice by the book that I can trust it and go to court. Listen, Morgan & Morgan law app, give me this information and it's working. Do you think it's a good idea? Or maybe maybe this is the future in the end?
I think not only, I do think it is a good idea, and it is happening. So there are different tools and apps like this. I have considered myself building apps around what I do, around things that I enjoy. The issue really is putting the right parameters in place and the right tech, right? Then you're getting a little bit more on the tech side as to what it's learning from and making sure that it's not going and learning from outside of your model that you're feeding it. So you need to keep it a closed proximity, basically, a closed source, and you need to feed it all of your information and then work with it and train it and make sure it's responding the way you want. And that is something that is in place, and it's happening in all different industries. So it is out there, but you really do need to be careful if you're using one to make sure that it is, in fact, from a closed source and trained appropriately. But yes, I think it's very much the wave of the future, and I know it's happening already, and there are some of the AI employees, so to speak, that people speak about, or if you go and see an AI automated response, to an FAQ or something like that, a lot of that is based on something very similar to what you're talking about. But something that I, wanted to share and get to was the question you asked before about, being careful, going and asking like a legal question, for example. There is also a difference that we have to understand between the book knowledge and practical execution, right? So a lot of times the AI will give you what's on paper seemingly a very good answer. And an example I'll give you is, not that long ago, as you know, Nissan, I moved to a new home. And
amazing home, I have to say.
Thank you. It was a dream. It still is a dream. Don't pinch me. So many wonderful things. So
just replace the HOA here, that's all.
That's it. New fiber, and then it will really be the dream. But in the meantime, I'll live with what I got. And so I went and I used ChatGPT to give me some assistance in determining which was the right homeowner's insurance plan for me. And I redacted my personal information, of course, and I fed in the basis of the policy, and I got some information, and then I called my agent, and I said, here's the one I want to go with, and here's why. And he gave me some practical, real life, he said, you're right-ish, because on paper that's true, but in reality, there was a different reality, right, about how the insurance companies actually responded to what was written. So, we really have to also keep in mind that it is only as good as what it learns, but also there is something to be said for the human mind and the experience of a person and what they bring to the table. And I don't think that's something that will ever be replaced.
The ideal is to create AI app, AI software that if I feed it not the best way, it will still give me good answer and legal answer that I can go to court with it and say, listen, this is the rule. I was right, I was wrong. And maybe in the future it's going to be, my ideal is going to be, I want it perfect.
I mean, perfect would be amazing. But while we're still getting there, here's the advice I would give you. And I actually just gave this advice at a presentation I was giving this afternoon to a pretty incredible community. And it was this. You can use AI now for the ability to, get you knowledgeable so that you can now go to a lawyer and say, here's what I understand the issues to be. And then you talk it through, but you've probably saved yourself many, many hours, right? And a lot of money in doing so. And you come educated and having a very different level of conversation than when you come just with the problem and telling them to guide you. So I think you can still use it in a very powerful way and interact without it being quite where you want it to be at this point. But we're getting there. I believe we are getting there.
Okay, I asked a question we don't need to ask today, but I asked it. What is the next step in the segment today?
So the next step in the segment is just letting everybody know the importance of really going and learning the tools, but not only that, use them in your business, use them in your life, understand how you're doing that, and get the right policies and procedures in place. Because again, the powerful truth here is that we have a responsibility, each one of us. Again, like I said, the Jewish people, we need to go ahead and we need to be powerful as we always are and use this technology and be the difference that we can be.
Okay. So it's a powerful truth. How we make it really something that I can use this week? What is the listener can do now to create things with AI, to learn things from AI, to make our life easier?
Well, I would start this week. I'm going to get back to a little bit basics. Go, depending on where you are in your life, go to AI, pick your tool of choice, and tell it what issue you're struggling with this week. And then go ahead, ask it for some support and advice, and just work with it, collaborate. And then tell it, if it's a legal issue, you need to tell it, I want you to act as a great legal advisor. If it's a productivity issue, tell it, I want you to act as a productivity expert. If it's a problem with your children, tell them you want to be working with the best parenting advisor on the planet. And then just work with it. And for the businesses out there, start really considering putting some policies in place and having the conversations with your employees, with your third-party vendors, with your contractors to make sure you know and understand how AI is being used within your organization, because many people are burying their head in the sand and it's a problem.
Okay, Gila. So we talk about AI today and a lot of things that surround AI today. And I'm going to ask you another question. If somebody have a school or somebody have a shul or Jewish organization, and how can people reach you and understand more about AI? How you can present the technology to this organization? I understand it's something that you do, correct?
Yes. So I go into organizations and I help them identify where AI would help them most, and I also help them identify where they have risks around AI. We write policies, simple. It sounds kind of scary when I say that to people, but we write simple policies, and then we train their employees, we train their vendors as needed so that they have in writing the protection and they are protected when they're using AI. So you can reach out to me, as always. You can find me on the radio station Facebook group. You can find me on socials at Global AI. That's spelled GLOWBALAI. GLOW is for Generating Light on the World, because that is what I'm here to do. So find me on socials, email me, Gila at Global AI, or in the Facebook group. And I will remind you, Nissan, that before the next radio show, I will be announcing the two winners of the Amazon gift cards.
$150.
Yeah, $250 winners. I'm really excited about that. So I hope everybody will get into the Facebook group, take a look, engage, interact, and also continue to listen.
I have to say that I learned today a lot, and I got really deep understanding today. So it's amazing. And you, of the listener, I hope so you feel inspiration for this AI segment. Here with me in Gila on the Jewish Israeli radio station 107.1, 106.9. And you can find the segment soon on our Facebook group, and soon we're going to have a YouTube channel. That's correct, Gila? You're working about the YouTube channel?
Yes, yes. And I will be getting back into the group and starting to do my recaps and sneak peeks.
Gila, thank you very much for having you today here.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom. Have a nice weekend.
Shabbat Shalom.
If you can text, you can use AI.
Oh my God.
And how you use it, that's what matters most. I'm Gila Liazzato, licensed attorney, co-host of this station's weekly AI segment, and founder of Global AI. I am inviting you to the AI for Leaders Summit, a free virtual event for anyone who wants to engage with AI consciously, creatively, and confidently. No matter where you are starting from, there's something here for you. Go to AIforleaderssummit.com and join us.